Hey, what's up, you guys? How are you? Welcome to my channel. If you are new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the like button. So without any further ado, let's get into it. So obviously you saw the thumbnail, you saw the title of this video, and you clicked on it right away. Yes, we are talking about the firstborns today. And, you know, this is a topic of conversation, I should say, that is so near and dear to my heart because I am a firstborn. I am the first of five, right? So it's five of us all together and I'm the first, and I'm a female, right? And on top of that, I am from West Africa, right? So I am of West African descent. I am Nigerian, from the tribe of Igbo, Igbo Kwenu. Okay. All my Nigerians stand up. But, you know, I wanted to talk, you know, I guess briefly or maybe not briefly about, you know, some of the things that firstborns have to go through, you know, especially when you come from a large family, and especially if you are the child of parents who are immigrants, right? They're foreigners. And when they came to America, obviously they came looking for or searching for a better opportunity. So, you know, and on top of that, you know, being a female, a girl, you know, firstborn to African parents, I mean, that itself is, I mean, pressure times 10. Right. And so it has, I would say, you know, from my own perspective, I don't know about anybody else, but from my own perspective, it definitely has not been an easy road. It's not been an easy journey. And I'm not here to play the victim or anything, but I'm just reflecting, or oftentimes I'll have moments of reflections of, you know, how tough, honestly, it was growing up as the firstborn. You know, your siblings, whether they want to admit it or not, your younger siblings, they're looking up to you. They're hoping that you get it right. They're hoping that you are able to walk through certain doors so that they don't have to struggle to get in. They're hoping that you get invited to certain places, or you get the opportunity to be in certain rooms. So again, you know, that those opportunities can also be presented to them. So those doors can also be opened unto them, you know. And then on top of that, you're like the second mom, you know. On top of that, you have all these other roles and responsibilities that you have to also handle. Your mental health, your physical health, you know, your emotional health, all these things, while having to still be the leader, essentially, you know, of your family. Let's just be honest. You know, yes, you have your parents there, but sometimes as the firstborn, you have to take up that leadership position, whether you want to or not. Being the firstborn really is a calling, you know. In scripture, God even calls the firstborns to his own, right? He says, separate unto me the firstborns because they belong to me. So technically the firstborns are supposed to be doing the work of God, or they're supposed to be consecrated unto God. And, you know, sometimes that is not always the case, but I know for me specifically, yes, God has called me to journey with him. He's called me to ministry. He's called me to really live out the rest of my days, or all of my days, serving him. And so, you know, on top of that, you know, when you come from, you know, a family that, you know, so many different personalities and also so many different views, right? Sometimes biblically as well, you now also on top of that have to navigate, okay, how do I lead my brothers and my sisters to Christ while still trying to handle all the other responsibilities that are on my head or on my shoulders as being the firstborn. You know, I cannot speak for firstborn sons. I can only speak for firstborn daughters. And I truly believe it's a lot harder being a firstborn daughter than it is being a firstborn son. You know, I'm sorry. You know, forgive me if you disagree. I'm sorry, but this is, again, I can only talk about my own personal experience. You know, the weight, you know, of how everyone is literally looking to you to get it right, or the weight of the fact that if you don't get it right, you know, the consequences that are to follow after, you know, the pressure, right? The pressure to succeed in your education, to get married, to have children, to really be that poster child so that everybody else can look up to and follow. it is not for the faint of heart. It is not, especially if you come from a culture that already puts pressures on females to be a certain way or to do certain things in a certain way, and then on top of that, you're a firstborn. Holy Spirit, help me to flow in this video. But, I don't want to sound like I'm all over the place, but I guess this can kind of be the intro video to me talking about the firstborns, right? The reality is, we do have a lot on our shoulders. We do have to deal with a lot. We do have to carry a lot. And our younger siblings, they just don't understand. They just don't get it. And they will never get it. If you are a younger sibling watching this, pray for your firstborn. Pray for your elder sister. Pray for her, support her, be there for her. She may not and will not always get it right, but that is where you step in as the younger sibling to say, you know what, I'm still going to honor, I'm still going to respect, I'm still going to be there for my older sibling, my older sister, especially because I know that if she gets it right, I get it right. If she goes through the door, if she breaks through, then we are also breaking through. You see, the mistake that a lot of younger siblings like to make is that they think, okay, especially if their older sister is not really doing the best in life, they think that, oh, I'm going to do better than her. I'm going to do this, and that. But don't you know this life is highly spiritual? The reality is you can only go as far as your elder sister or your eldest has gone. Again, I keep saying older sister because, again, I cannot speak to the how it is to be an older son, the firstborn son. I can't speak to that. I can only speak to a firstborn daughter. And if you're a firstborn daughter, this is for you. Sorry. But like if you think that, oh, I've arrived and I'm doing this and I'm married and I have kids and I have my career and I'm doing all these things, and you think that you're better than your older sister, then you've got it all twisted, my friend. Because as I mentioned before, this life is highly spiritual. So if something is fighting, or if someone is fighting, let me say something is fighting, the upliftment or the promotion or the expansion of your elder sister, you got some things that you have to deal with in the spiritual. Because you all keep in mind, again, if she breaks through, you break through. If she gets in the door, you get in the door. If she gets to great heights, you get to great heights, And so if you are a younger sibling watching this, it is in your best interest actually to pray for your elder sister. It's in your best interest to intercede on their behalf. What do I mean by intercede? I mean you are intentional about taking time aside or setting time aside to pray, to decree and declare scripture, to speak positive words of affirmation over your older sister so that you all can get ahead in life. I'm trying to think what other ways I can go with this, but again, being a firstborn to Nigerian parents, the pressure is on and the expectations are high. I remember when I flunked out of pharmacy school, and I will never forget the day my dad said, "Don't put this family to shame," because nobody in our family has ever flunked out of school before. Thanks, Dad. Thanks for giving me comfort. I was literally going through anxiety attacks. My blood pressure was high. I was stressed out. So much was going on during school, the period of school when I went to go get my doctorate degree. And that was not the words that I needed to hear. But again, you're a firstborn. You're my firstborn. So how dare you bring shame and reproach to the family? How dare you mess up? How dare you do anything that would not bring, honor to the family name? And I get that. When parents, it's a parent's joy to see their children doing well. It's a parent's joy to see them succeeding in their education. Of course, I get that. But I feel like it hits more differently when you're a firstborn daughter, because the expectation is that you would rise high, you would climb high, you would rise high, and you would stay high, right? But you don't understand. Sometimes, unfortunately, parents don't even understand the struggles with that. The kind of pressure, that can do to someone, that pressure alone, that is enough to give somebody high blood pressure. That is enough to make somebody be, but pressure from parents is real as a firstborn, especially if you are the firstborn to African parents. It's not even a negotiable. I mean, of course, you already get it the worst, right? You're the firstborn, so the treatments are harsher, the punishments are harsher, the expectations are higher. And it's like, wow, how have I been able to actually go through my whole life like this? Like always trying to be the best, the top, always trying to make sure that I'm pleasing my parents, I'm pleasing everyone around me, while also being the great example and so on and so forth. How have I actually gone through life? It's only by the grace and mercies of God. Because I often reflect and I often think like, Florin, actually, how did you make it through? Especially some of your most toughest, darkest days when you felt like you had no more strength, you had nothing else to give. But some way, somehow, by the grace and mercies of God, he saw me through. And again, your younger siblings, they're not going to understand that. Some of them, they don't see the tears you cry at night. They don't see the frustrations, the battles you have to go through. All they know is you're my elder sister, so get it together. Or you're my older sister, so pay for this. You're my older sister, so do this. You're my older sister. Like, hello? Can we take time and think, okay, I wonder, how is this impacting my older sister? How has she been able to handle and deal? Because people watch how you handle attack, especially as a firstborn daughter. People watch how you handle attacks, setbacks, how you handle frustrations, how you handle difficult situations. Your younger siblings are watching that. And if you don't conduct yourself in a way that is honorable, oh my gosh, it's like the earth is ending, or the world is ending, I should say. And so I'm gonna, I guess, kind of try to end it here. And let me know if you guys want me to do a series on this, talking about the firstborn daughters. I could go as back as, talking about how it was growing up as a firstborn daughter, education wise, career wise, relationship wise. I mean, there's so many areas that I could touch on. Which, even as I'm speaking, it makes sense why, for a lot of firstborn daughters, when they take the love language test, I'm sure you guys are familiar with the 5 love languages. Most of them, their highest score is always going to be acts of service. Do you know why acts of service, right? Acts of service, because for all their lives, they're so used to doing, giving, sowing. They're so used to always having to give and do for others that they don't even know what it's like for others to do for them. And I'm talking about from a relationship standpoint, like a husband and wife standpoint. So it's natural for a firstborn daughter to want to marry someone that's going to essentially take care of her, give her that baby girl lifestyle that she's been desiring and longing for, give her that soft life, It's natural. I know for me, at least, my number one is acts of service. I want to be with someone that is going to take care of me, someone that's going to do for me, someone that's going to literally pour out to me, because I've spent most of my life or all of my life pouring out to others, especially my siblings, and so, yeah. And I'm sure others of you who are watching this who are firstborns, you've even had to probably go do way more than I have had to. Everybody's journey is different. Some firstborns, they lost a parent. Some of them lost their mother, and then they immediately have to step into that mom role, and just literally run the household. I mean, it's so many stories, so many different people, who can identify with what it feels like to be a firstborn. It is not easy. But I want to give some form of encouragement to the firstborns that it does get better. Some way, somehow, I truly believe, and it does. It actually does. It does get better. It may not be the kind of better that you were hoping and expecting, but it does get better. It really does, by the grace and mercies of God. If you're a follower of Christ, if you're not, then I don't really know what to say. But some way, somehow, it does get better. Just trust the process, trust, the different times and the seasons that you're in, trust that it will get better. For me, my faith has held me up. My faith in God, my faith in Jesus Christ has truly held me up And it's helped me over the years to endure, to push, to go, to keep growing and going. Many times, many times I wanted to give up. Many times I, contemplated like, God, what would it be like if I wasn't here? Suicidal thoughts, contemplated like, or telling God, like, don't wake me up, because I realized if I killed myself, I'm gonna go to hell, and I don't want to go to hell, God forbid. So, I sometimes saying like, God, don't even worry about waking me up, just because of how dark it got in my life as a firstborn. And it's unfortunate sometimes you have parents that are spiritually blind. You have parents that are not, okay, let me not say completely spiritual. Well, some of them are spiritually blind, but you have parents that are just not, they just don't really understand spiritual things, I should say. And because they don't necessarily understand spiritual things, it doesn't help. It doesn't help at all, especially for the firstborns, because the things that they're going through are spiritual. And the things that they're going through require prayer, require fastings, require biblical declarations, require deliverance, most or sometimes. And when you have parents that don't understand all of that, it can be another obstacle to have to navigate through. It can be another thing to, it's another hurdle, So yeah, being a firstborn, yeah, definitely not for the weak. Definitely not for the weak. And we didn't choose this, right? We didn't choose to be a firstborn. God just decided in his own sovereignty that, he was going to make us firstborns. And we had no choice but to take up our cross and follow him. We had no choice but to take up our mantle as the firstborn and keep going and doing the best that we could each and every single day. Not just for ourselves, but so that our siblings could also have a better life as well. And so I'm going to end it here for now, but just kind of wanted to let the firstborns know that, hey, I see you. I'm sure you're seeing me. And we got this, we are going to keep pushing. We're going to keep pressing. We're going to keep growing. We're going to keep going. And we're just going to trust that our end will be better than our beginning. And so thank you guys so much for tuning into this particular video, or I don't want to call it episode, because I don't know if I'm going to make these into a series yet on YouTube at least. But yeah, so again, as I mentioned before, if you're not following me, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. And if you truly would like to see more videos about me talking about the firstborns or talking with the firstborns, please let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for your time. And yeah, take care. Bye.